which is similarly dressed disincarnate entities from his family line that's dressed similarly to him, and they don't play about it. That being said, the brother who lost his hand, that's a tragedy.
And he that same hand, he was up in there, at
Let me,
607 on.
yeah, let me cook.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, now I say this is why I say he wasn't a bully. He was like Candyman. If his set or his name don't get put in it, you won't see him. Right? But when you start speaking on him, he gonna make you answer for it one way or the other. If you man enough to call him out, you supposed to be man enough to run the fade. Right? That's not what Crazy Horse Energy do. Though Crazy Horse Energy will run that fade and they will put one in you.
Yeah.
Right? But Crazy Horse Energy understand the power of us as a collective unit and don't want to go to war with the soldiers from the bloodlines.
That's what he was trying
So
to
it'll find a way out of that conflict. Right? So I don't think he was necessarily a bully. He just didn't back down. Right? He didn't say he want a problem, but when you say you want a problem, he like 50 Cent. He say, no problem. Right? In California culture, if you speak on somebody's business, you got to be ready to stand on it as the truth or admit that it's the lie.
That's cold.
If you can't stand on what you blow out your head, they gonna box your face. Ain't no backing down once you said the wrong thing to the one that they sent to correct you. You shouldn't have put my name in put my business out in the street. That's Cali culture.
Yeah, that's right, Rod. You right.
Right. So when you understand I don't even live in California, but I got relatives out there, and I know people who were born and raised there that end up moving this way and discuss the culture. I'm able to understand the mechanics of their culture. So that when I do decide that I want to go to LA or I want to go to the Bay, or if I want to go to the Valley, I'm welcome because they know I'm not going to disrespect the tribal culture that's natural to the land. Right. Now, I might disrespect their police and their governor because they don't belong here.
Right.
But they going to be cheering me on if I do because they know they don't belong here. Right? They just don't know what we were supposed to be doing at the OG level of making the alliances and informing the youth so as they don't keep making the same repeated mistakes of taking their allies off the battlefield in friendly fire.
Right.
So our natural culture made us, the ones who didn't go to the military, learn military strategy, fighting streets and war in the streets.
Yeah.
We still got to learn how to defend the land. What if they dismantle the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines right now? Whose responsibility is going to be to secure the land? Right. The tribes. Don't nobody else got that responsibility. Anybody else that's securing and protecting the land right now, thank you. But that ain't their job. That's the tribe's job. We are the ones with territorial jurisdiction to govern over the land. Right? We the ones that's supposed to have the final say in what form of government is ran across the land. If they going to be isolated communities or if they're going to be a unified network. That's supposed to be our responsibility. But since they told us we from somewhere else, when we do start forming the tribe, we don't know what to do next. So the delirious part of the restructuring or reformation of the tribes come in when the government used that delirium to villainize them and turn their own people philosophically against them as if they are the negative current and the cause for all the problems. When they actually the recipient of the most problems by being displaced in the first place.
Right.
Right? So the remedy is always put the people in the places they supposed to be and the machine will run the way it's supposed to run. Only the one competent to lead in the particular area is the leader of that area. Everybody who's not a specialist under that person sit back and take instructions to aid and assist in the success of us all. Right now, you might have this chief out there, but next week it might be a different chief telling you more stuff to do to bring us back into the position of prominence on the land. Right? You got now in 2025, just 5 short years ago, it was only a skeleton crew of us telling these people that we know the truth now.
Yeah.
We know who we are. We know we didn't come on those ships. We was already here.
Right.
Right? That skeleton crew back then was enough to ignite the flame of understanding in the minds of the masses of the lost tribes.
Uh-huh.
Right? And that's why Tupac said, all you lost tribe MFers, I'm talking to y'all. I'm trying to put y'all on my back. Who he talking about? Right? So when we start looking at it now compared to the skeleton crew, it's a full-fledged workforce pushing the truth to the forefront with the receipts. Don't believe me, check it out.
Right.
You also have to have somebody that's trying to dispute what you're saying and override the accurate receipts from the people contemporary with the invasion. So they gonna tell you that just because they on the Dawes Road don't make them a $5 Indian. They was always here. That's not true. Some of them were, but most of them wasn't.
Yeah.
The few that were was used to teach the ones who wasn't how to pretend to be us, even if they didn't know they was teaching it.
Right.
Because they study us so that they can try to train somebody that's not us to pretend to be us. So when they tell us we from somewhere else, we say, oh, we must be because these people from over here, and all the time we know where we from.
Biggest game, man. That was a good game right there. That was a good move. Because they couldn't just they had to do it how they did it, or it wouldn't have worked. They had to bring in imposters to play us, or they wouldn't have been able to pull the whole trick off like they did.
Right. Why do you think they started whitewashing? Because they wanted us to believe that the pale faces of Europe was the ones behind all of the dirt.
Yeah.
And once we believe that, then we believe that white is a ranking system and not a legal terminology.
Yeah.
Right? As soon as we think it's a ranking system, then the superior being white, we don't know that we giving the ones that's hiding behind the pale faces carte blanche to misuse and abuse us. As long as they put it in the public domain, they allowed to do to us whatever we allow them to do.
That brings me to my next question, Rod, because it ties in kind of what you was just talking about the politics in California and the rules on the land. Now, when in Rome, do as Romans do. Now, I done been to a lot of them places, like areas where they say, well, you know, this is a place where you can't go. You know, like if you ain't from around here, you only need to come over there. But I go over there, I don't have no problems. So because I'm in Rome, I do as the Romans do. You know what I'm saying? So could you go in on that, like? Because they talking about territorial areas where they say do you know where you at? You out here throwing twisting your fingers like that? You in the wrong area for that. You know what I'm saying?
What it is it's the respect of cultures.
Okay.
If you are solid in the culture you from, and you understand how to respect the different tribes in your local area, you're going to understand that when you go to a foreign part of the land that you're not from, that in order for you to get along with the people from the area, you have to respect their brand.
Yeah.
You have, I was raised GD from birth. So I go hang out with Stones in Chicago like brothers. Vice Lords, You know, we be sitting around, we be putting in work together, as they say,
Uh-huh.
right? But I ain't never changed my true blue status. They know I was folks when they was dealing with me.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't false flagging. I knew they was stones and lords when I was dealing with them,
Uh-huh.
right? Because there's no secret. But I know how to respect your land. I'm in Motown.
Yeah.
Anybody in Chicago know Motown is Jeff Fort stomping ground. That's his territory.
Uh-huh.
Like the center point. Like it's called Motown because they called the Stones Modes.
Right.
It's a little stretch on 50th of GD's that's about 2 blocks long, where my region Oileyhead was from. When I moved over there with my Aunt Maggie. So I understood that culture enough to know how to be respectful to the stones on their own land. I can't come in your house and don't wipe my feet on the rug or take my shoes off when I'm going across your white carpet. That's called disrespect. When you're in other people's house, you abide by the basic rules of decency and respect. You hardly ever have a real problem. But when you go over there with arrogant and I'm the only real NIWGA in the world, the rest of these suckers fake, you're gonna end up coming out of there on a body bag or a stretcher.
Yeah.
You got the wrong mentality to be visiting other people's house. You don't want to wipe your foot on the rug because you say it ain't your grandmama's house. You don't care about his. You're supposed to be going to see him. Why would you not have the same respect for his grandmama as you got for yours?
Right.
So some of us learn this at an early age, and we integrate with other tribes easily. This is how we learn the culture from different parts of the land, so that when it comes time to wake the tribes up, we can clearly explain Mississippi culture is right next to New Orleans and is not New Orleans culture.
No.
It's a different culture altogether. But look how close they are. But anybody that can survive in New Orleans know how to respect the land anywhere they go. That was the training ground. That's why it was called the Big Easy.
Right.
Because it put you on Easy Street when you know how to get all of that melting pot of tribes that then form sub-tribes across the wards. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Every parish got her own little swag to it. Every little housing development got its own swag to it. And if you know how to go to New Orleans and go from different parts of the town and peacefully coexist with all of those different cultures that's within that one geography, they can set you free anywhere on the land and you'll be able to survive because you know how to give respect.
Yeah.
That's what it boiled down to. We used to check in at the barbershop. That's why Basin Street is 1 block over, a couple blocks over from Bourbon Street. Basin Street goes to the basin tubs that you used to use to clean your body.
That's right.
Then they used to have the barbershops and the shower shops. And the first one you get to was the barbershop because the bathtub was there when you coming out of the fields of different parts of the land. Right? You get cleaned up down Basin Street. By the time you get to the end, you be bought new clothes, new shoes, got your hair done, got your whatever, pedicure, got your cologne, your lotion, all that was what that was. It was to get cleaned up so that you can go drink it on Bourbon Street. Now they didn't commercialize it and the culture has found a new way to express itself and it left to the tourists the legend of what used to be Bourbon Street and Basin Street. It became a tourist attraction. But you still not gonna stop them second line marching Indians, the Mardi Gras Indians, which come from many different tribes. Mardi Gras, Happy Tuesday, right? The day of celebration. And this day of celebration, they come out and they've been doing it for thousands of years, dressed in their regalia that they took all year making.
Yeah.
everybody want to put on a good showing. But watch that fancy footwork as they try to cross the land. They telling you something. They telling you you've been here the whole time. You ain't never left. That's why Mardi Gras look like Cinco de Mayo. That's why Cinco de Mayo look like a Death Day version of Los Carnival. It's all the same, different parts of the culture expressing the same activity in a different way. You got it going on in Haiti. You got it going on in Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, St. Croix, St. Lucia, Grenada. It's going on everywhere that the tribes ain't never stopped being who they was. They just got renamed on paper. Paper genocide.
Yep. Yep, that brings me to my next question, Rod, because somebody said, man, make sure you ask Rod this question, because y'all on there talking about all this, and y'all ain't talking about what Trump doing right now. And I'm telling them, man, we already told you everything about Trump. We didn't told you from the root of the toot on what the Trump got going. But so for the guys that asked this question 2000, why y'all ain't talking about Trump? Could you go in on what you got on Trump for the? You know, he attacked Iran, somebody. You know, we already told him everything on Trump. But
remember when I told you when I said saving Israel for last, right?
Yeah.
And when they went into and bombed Iran, I told you like a couple days before it happened. I say Netanyahu gonna do something to tick Trump off. Remember me saying that?
Yeah.
Right, then Trump on the news cursing, using profanity. Right? Mad because he's saying neither one of them know what the F they're doing. Right? Israel ticked him off. It's all part of the script of them pushing the morals and dogma down our throat. All you gotta do is go to Morals and Dogma and read about World War III. It's telling you exactly what they're doing.
Hey, for the person that's making a comment about the Fat Tuesday, well, he said celebrate Tuesday, but it's Fat Tuesday. He know that, and then really, to be honest with you, Fat Tuesday started in like 1669, and actually we didn't celebrate Fat Tuesday. What it was Mardi Gras was it wasn't even called Mardi Gras. It was a thing where, like Rod say, it was New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama was the intake for this land. So you had to come there in order to get into the land. So when newcomers would come to the land, we would throw them, like, you know how in Hawaii when they get off the plane, they have a whole bunch of people be out there dancing, welcome you to Hawaii, put like little flowers around your neck, you know, all that type of thing. So it was that type of thing down in New Orleans. And so when the French came in 1669 and they landed in Brown Mobile, the natives there celebrated them landing, welcomed them to the land. But we didn't know they was gonna be some suckers, right? But we welcomed them to the land. And then so what they did is, being that it was already a Christian holiday, in these the French, they were not Pentecostal, they were I think of their denomination in a minute. You know, the French, the Huguenots, they were
Orthodox Christians.
Nah, it was another name, not Orthodox Christians. They the one that pretty much did the King James Bible, the 66.
Protestant.
Yeah, they Protestants. Okay, so the Protestants came, they landed in 1699, and then when just so happened the day they was landing, it was already a holiday that the Christians celebrate for Lent and for the Fat Tuesday, where they get rid of the fat meats, right? For like a certain type of holiday, right? So when they were landing, that was happening. So they just correlated it with what the natives were doing and just made it a celebration. The French made it into a celebration and started calling it Mardi Gras. But we had already, like Rod said, we had already been doing that thousands of years before the French came over here. Well, for the Africans, everybody that was coming over here, as far as visiting our land.
Look, King, the new production, so that's why the Hawaiians got it from us. The original Hawaiians is us.
That's right. That's right. Well,
we got displaced down there. Like they annexed. They didn't do a vote for Hawaii.
No.
They didn't do a treaty for Hawaii. They annexed. I mean, they took that
Yeah.
and persecuted the royal family that was governing the island. We ain't. They not getting no pass on Hawaii.
No.
That the Hawaiian people is some of the tribes that came to the mainland. Some of the Maori tribes that came to the mainland to go fight in the Gullah Wars in Florida.
Right.
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 And this is why you got a lot of us that look like the royal family of Hawaii. All of the royal families throughout the South Pacific, we used to intermarry our royal families together.
Right.
Right. And then all of the royal families from the other side of the ocean, of the Atlantic, the eastern seaboard did the same.
Mm-hmm.
If you look up the Chinese road, it goes right through Mexico. Right? Because it was such a large influx of Chinese that used to come in with the princess or whoever was coming over here to marry the chief.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They would just send them. They send dowries of servants. Right? Over here, all servants is released once they made a member of the tribe. We don't keep slaves. The ones who want to stay and be of service is welcome. But we have to compensate them with food and clothing and shelter. This is why they keep saying that we already had slaves. We had no slaves.
No.
Everybody was family. We lived by the one family concept. They was trying to break that up with divide and conquer. And this is why they made the grave distinction in separating the Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas, which is all the same people at different times under different cultural influence.
Right.
Right? The old Mississippians is a continuation of the same people.
That's right.
Right? So when I say the old Mississippians was first, that's because they came off the old blood.
That's right.
We know old blood is the original blood of the human.
That's right.
That's not a secret. Been scientifically proven. We know that A and B and the derivatives thereof all came after the old blood. It don't make us better than them. It just tell you that we was the original. It's called omega level mutant energy in anime. It's there for a reason. So the omega blood is the mama line mitochondrial O blood. You got a positive line and a negative line, but it's the only universal donor to all other lines because it's the original, it's the template, the blueprint. And I don't even like talking about blood types, but it's necessary for you to understand that a lot of the historical information they gave us, they told us the story upside down and backwards.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it so difficult to reconstruct us from the past because of something called a sacred drift. Shout out Pleasant Bay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rob. So do you because I know that the U.S. Military overthrew the last she was the empress. She was a Nubian over Hawaii. That was like that was like just recently in the 1900s, I think.
I think it was in the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could have been a little earlier, but I remember when they went in there, she was like, what are y'all doing? She said, oh, we taking this.
Yep.
It was all financed by the Dole family, who ended up becoming the larger exports from Hawaii of the Dole pineapple.
Wow.
The Hawaiian Wars sometimes are referred to as the Pineapple Wars because they was trying to take the indigenous farming produce. We used to already trade pineapples and sugars from and sweets plants that grew in Hawaii. We was already trading them with that stuff.
Yeah.
In Mesoamerica. That ain't new.
Yeah.
So that's why they sent warriors, and that's how they got caught with their pants down. We didn't expect the Spanish to go around South America, DeSoto, and launch his assault on the South Pacific. But then they tell you it's a fairy tale in the story of Califia. It's the same story.
Yeah. 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 They attacked these guys, man. They came at us in all different types of ways. But they said everything that we told them, everything that we said about Trump. I told y'all, wean yourself off the government. I said all this because they going out of business. They are business. Trump is the liquidator. He's closing everything out. He's closing the gap. So now people just saying, this is the part right here, Rod. This is what I want to ask you about the Trump thing. Now, I told them about Project 2025. I put the stuff out before Trump even came president. And then look, people was attacking me saying Trump said that he ain't with Plan 2025. He ain't with that. And I told him, I said, man, politicians gotta lie. And in order to be a good politician, you gotta be a good liar, right? And then now Trump, I think it was like 2 days ago, Trump just signed over the Plan 25. And they say it won't be activated until 2028. I think that's what I heard. But he signed it. But everybody was going after me saying that Trump never said that. He you know what I'm saying? He signed it. So what's your thing on that, Rod?
Hold on. Pastor Gabriel say Dolo the Pilot Man is all I'm gonna say on God. Shout out to Dolo the Pilot Man. Yeah, that's my dude. Man, I love to listen. Love to listen. Yeah, that's my guy.
I've been on the show with Dolo.
Yeah. So look, we already went over the National Guard have to come in to get rid of the police. We went over that already. Mm-hmm. So now you see National Guard being deployed under the pretenses of ISIS. It still got to be deployed no matter what they call them. Because you got to get rid of the police. So the stage got to be set for that. Mm-hmm. Right? Also told them about curfew. Detroit just put a curfew in place. So I told you, tell your children if they put the curfew in place, abide by the curfew because they're going to have a lot of Manchurian candidates working curfew patrol. A guy just got shot in I think it was somewhere close around here running from the police in the middle of the night. The police, the report say that he had his hands up and the police shot him anyway. But the thing being is, we already told y'all this was going to happen, not because there's foresight in the form of prophecy, but it's foresight in knowing what need to be done for the government to shift back to the tribes. Mm-hmm. Right? We had to see everything going out that we've seen coming in. And somebody has to secure the land when the power is being transferred. Right? We showed you in the FEMA document how the tribes was involved with the continuity of government. We showed it to you. It's on the face of the document. We also went over the Indigenous Rights Act to show you that if we follow our tribal ways, they have to respect it even if they don't like it.
Right.
Right? We went over both Indigenous Rights Act. We covered all that. We covered where we was at in all of the processes up to now. We had end game the shutdown of the continuity process. So now they setting the stage to leak or to expose all of the secret information. This is what we see it now. We already went over all this. The ones who's asking those questions, they coming in and they haven't seen the prior information, and they coming in without knowing that we've already went over this stuff in intimate detail.
Yeah, 10,000
receipts. Yeah, with receipts.
And I got a whole playlist called "Pump for Trump." Why don't you? So all you guys that want, if you out there, you want to pump for Trump, we got a whole playlist called "Pump for Trump," where me and Rod broke down the whole. Everything about that he just said about Trump is in that playlist. So, matter of fact, one of the guys that asked that question, I sent him the playlist. I say, you want to know about Trump? We already did all that. Here you go. Drop the whole playlist on with 50 videos. And,
look, when we do these live, when we already covered something, the only thing that take us back to cover it again is the questions of the audience.
Yeah. So we got no problem covering it. But like I say, Trump is now. This is another question about Trump. The word is going out that Trump saying that he the last president, and that he ain't gonna be no more election after 20 the next election. He ain't gonna be no election next. Is what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think? Well, I don't think it's going. Well, it shouldn't be another election. It really should have been another election after 1999. But they've been really running as a running the ship.
It's called a rogue state.
Yeah, it's rogue. That's what it is. That's right. Hey, drop your questions in the chat, man. I got another question for you, Rod. Let me see me get my list pulled back up right here. On these questions that they asked. I got the Trump question. Boom. We got that one. All right, telepathic abilities, linguistics. That's one another thing they asked. They said, okay, so sometimes when people say like you thinking about somebody, boom, they call you. You going out, you walk outside, say I'm thinking about somebody, you walk outside, they pulling up at your house. So, what type of we know it's telepathic ability, but could you go in on that particular resonance and how it?
You posted me going into that couple the last live I did on Instagram when the sister was telling us about her candle ritual and how she got a response, and I explained the mechanics to her. Yeah. So we already covered that information in recent information, but all telepathic connections is established through a heart-to-heart sympathetic link. The information is translated from prefrontal lobe, where you have something called mirror cells. Under the pretenses of I am you and you are me, meaning that the sympathetic link open and we both have a mutual affection for each other, we can communicate using the mirror cells and the prefrontal lobe. It becomes a projection of frequency like a radio broadcast, but it's only directed to the one person that you directed it to. I don't know what you mean by erasement prescriptions, Elder.
Yeah, and because you be more fair use, it says how can we overcome erasement prescription?
I don't know what you're talking. I never heard that term.
Yeah, it's my first time. I don't know. I don't think she's talking about medicine prescription. Is she?
It sounds like to me she's talking about somebody got a hit on them and she's trying to escape it.
Yeah, like it sounds like some alchemy down there. Like, yeah. It sound like somebody witchcraft,
I can't answer that question because it's not clear enough. The understanding of what she's talking about not clear enough.
Maybe she'll drop it again.
The Fed has already been closed, which I don't know. It's already been in the news papers, but it wasn't on the broadcast news. The U.S. Treasury is in charge of the finances now. And the headquarters is moved to an Indian reservation outside Reno, Nevada. Most of us don't know that. Why would they put it on the reservation? Let that sink in.
Hey, shout out Brother Love. That's one of my teachers, Brother Love, right there. Brother Love, man. That one of my ancestors.
Yeah, Brother Love, that guy.
Here you go right here. Explain. What do you say? Explain technomic magic.
Techno magic. That's using technology to do conjure work or magician work. It's like using your tools, your implements, your magic wand, your crystal ball. That's still technology, but it's from a bygone era. Now you can use programs like you can use 3D animation to animate something called I forgot the name of them, but they symbols in tantric yoga, and you can animate them to accelerate the usage of in your mind's eye. You get to see what it looked like when you project it three-dimensionally versus what it looked like when it's a one-dimensional form.
Mm-hmm.
Masculine women is the only way that a woman, single woman, can raise a strong male child, because her masculine traits is going to shine and show him masculinity, but she's going to be sacrificing her femininity to do so, right? And that's going to decrease the power of her mother effect. If the woman stay feminine and she point out role models for the masculine child, he can learn from the role models by the direction of the mother, where she don't have to be so masculine to raise the masculine gender, which gives her more effect on the child in her feminine energy, right? Mm-hmm. So they are warrior women. When the warrior men start to decrease, the warrior women start to increase. Mm-hmm. This is the reason why they was on a campaign to convert everybody to alternative lifestyles to undermine the balance.
Facts, Rod. Well, Rod, you dope, Rod. You dope. Your analogies and your philosophies on things is dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like the way you break it down and you keep it. You don't gotta go all the way out like you went to Harvard. You know what I'm saying? Go all the way out like he went at Harvard. I gotta go get me a whole. Some of the stuff you say, you might have to go get a dictionary out, or you gotta been around for a while to know, like, to hear what you're saying, because you talking codes a lot, right? You gotta been around. I know something just to hear it, and then because I go back to stuff and I listen to it and I say, "Damn, Ron said that," and then I go look it up and put it together, and I start piecing more together. Man, I just about got to put the piece all together now, man. You can't come to me with it and tell me we came on no slave shit. That ain't gonna. You ain't like. To me, Rod, they didn't put that together until 1865. Based on what? That's the only time I can see where they put it together. Right during the Civil War. I don't see no other time frame where they sold that to us. Because look, even in that movie Patriots, them people, when King George and them people came to see, it was like 1773, 74, 75. When King James and them people came there, they said, King George the third. King George and them people said, "Hey, y'all," they were talking to the people that they said they were supposed to be slaves. They say, "Hey, y'all can come work for King George and be free. You don't gotta be slaves no more." They looked at that dude, told him, "Man, we ain't slaves. We just work here." And they was letting us know then. That some kind of game was being ran on that slave narrative. They were just working at a Walmart. Like this dude, it's like this dude owns some land. You go work for him and he pay you every day. They were getting paid every day just for going to work on that dude's land. They weren't no slaves. They go back. A lot
of them had a vested interest in the crop because that's how they fed their family. Right? Or if there was a cattle ranch, they had a vested interest in the cattle because that's how they fed their family. Right? Any kind of farming, you gotta remember, we didn't have grocery stores.
That's right.
We had what they call trading posts.
Former market, yeah. The
trading post was there. It was a junction between tribes to meet up with different things that they bring in order to get what they need and take back. We didn't care about money. Right? When we needed to do massive exchange, we exchanged gold and silver and coal, because we used to use a lot of coal, especially in the time that the colonists came. We be forgetting about coal was the big export before oil was discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They were doing coal mines that led to the discovery of some of the oil wells. Right? So the coal mine, this is how Big Mama colors, Vice Lord colors get to be black and gold.
Mm.
Right? They're black and gold because they represent the gold and the coal, which represents the blood and the right. The gold and the blood gives you the earth right. Right? So now you got your black stone as a piece of coal with a golden heart.
Mm. Hey, drop your questions in the chat. Somebody just this damn thing like it froze or something. All right. All right.
The trading post was the post office. This is where your King Lemuel Production said trading post with the post office too. The post office, the trading post was the post office. And this is where your Pony Express comes from, because it used to be an indigenous person riding horses across the land to deliver the message from one trading post to another.
So it was like this, Rod. Said like if I grew watermelon, right? So I would load me a wagon of watermelon. When I go to the trading post, say I would trade that watermelon in, some of it for corn, or some of it for sugar, some of it for.
Everybody didn't always find the same things.
Okay, all right.
Right. So you might only do spices. So you might have a whole farm where your whole family do different spices like cilantro and stuff like that all over your land. But then you might need to eat with corn or something like that. So you would go to the trading post. You would take the amount of herbs you got and trade it for the corn or the meat, because they used to dry the meat out.
Yeah, smoke meat.
They used to dry the meat out and pack it in salt to preserve it. So you had different means at the trading post. You used to trade the tribes who sold the moccasins would sold so many moccasins to put in the trading post to get whatever they needed. Because some of those southwestern tribes was on barren land, they couldn't grow crops, but they can work leather. Because the desert climate is perfect for drying out leather.
That's right.
Right? So they could trade in that and use that as the foundational trading stock to get the vegetables they need that they can't grow in the desert. Our culture is rich with understanding trade. We didn't understand exploitation and greed. That's what we didn't understand. And that's what we had to go and experience on a mass level, that we understand that we know we don't want that. You take your greed and your exploitation back across the water. We don't want it over here. We've just been here long enough and it don't work for us. Because if it worked for us, all of the tribes would be at the bottom of the national barrel, so to speak, the melding pot. We wouldn't be at the bottom always. That's by design. That's not no accident. Right. They've been showing us in the history books with the flooding of the cities and the mudding of the cities and the molasses across the city, the fires across the city. They've been showing us we've been at war. We just didn't know that they declared war on us until they printed it. And now we can show it to you, that the people of the land is at war with the government.
What?
I didn't write it. I'm just showing you where it was at. So Jermaine Oliver said, I've been quantum leaping more than usual and without effort. What's going on? I feel like I've been changing the script of reality, because that's exactly what's going on. And what you feel is what you know. That's the simplest, most direct answer I can give you. You experiencing, you know exactly what you experience, and you don't need nobody else to tell you. You experiencing what you experience. You just gotta interpret it as to how you're going to perceive it to affect you.
Yeah, the quantum leap. The quantum leap is that now he figured out a lot of stuff. He connecting a
Yeah.
lot of
So,
dots now.
and
Yeah.
the quantum leaping is the closing down of timelines that doesn't keep him in alignment with the upcoming age that's being told to him genetically through Schumann resonance and solar flares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Fire.
That's why, remember, I told him watch the solar flares, watch the Schumann resonance, and then watch how you feel. Download the biorhythm app so that you can monitor when you go through certain stuff. You can see it coming before it get here, based on what you experience when your biorhythm is in a certain frequency. Paperwork ain't got nothing to do with your status. It only got something to do with your political position inside the corporation. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here.
This is it's process of Earth ejected or pulling from the
It's the
atmosphere.
process of Earth being ejected or pulled from the atmosphere, be it the gravitational pull, or what we will experience be the literally process of the seven thunders. The seven thunders is a reference to biblical revelation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And remember, when you go back in the book tell you what the answer to what a thunder is, right? It's the loud voice. The seven thunders is the seven kings of Israel in the Old Testament, right? It's also they also given to you with the Moby Dick story because the last king was Ahab, who got who got cut off at the knee by a little white lie that became a whale of a lie about a boat and a white whale, which is the white man's burden. So all of those are coded signs to read the times, right? Now remember, if it's seven speakers, where do they come from? You have to look to Revelations to find where the seven is relevant to where you would be getting seven voices from, right? So in Revelations, you got something called seven heads and 10 horns. The seven heads represent the leader of seven nations, and the 10 horns represent the secondary nations that support the seven,
Uh-huh.
right? But it's really coded as the number 17. 10 and 7 is 17 is a Q flip on a Q code off a Q card, right? To cue the director to make the cut, right? Which brings the movie to an end. So you was all playing in the movie. The world is a stage and we all just actors, says Shakespeare.
You know.
We all playing a part in something called the Holy Drama.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Drama is the tale of the resurrection of the Osiris, the Osirian resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
That was resurrected by the mama in the sun to allow him to ascend the throne and replace the father in the hereditary passing of the right. So once we understand that the movie has an ending to it, we can let the credits roll now. When the credits roll, it's going to tell you who was playing the bad guy, who was playing George Bush, who was playing his son, who was playing Barack Obama,
Yeah.
who was playing Hillary Clinton, All these secrets are codes, right? They got CIA code names for a reason, right? So you got Bill Clinton as the snowman. Think Falcon and the Snowman, espionage, but also think narcotics trade, Arkansas,
Yeah.
right? How we got the name the Snowman. The CIA code name Snowman was married to Evergreen. It's your Christmas story. Mother Claus, Father Claus.
Uh-huh.
Evergreen is the CIA code name for Hillary Clinton, right? Which she was using Evergreen freights to trafficking children. She's playing the bad witch, right? As you go through it, you see it all play out in front of you as a big fairy tale, and then you wonder why Shakespeare said the world is a stage and we are just actors. So somebody got to come at the grand finale and tell everybody what they experienced so that they can break out of character. Because once you do method acting, you get stuck in character and it's hard to find yourself again. So we need therapy.
That's
right. But we don't need individual therapy. Ain't nothing wrong with us except for the fact that we don't remember that we ain't these names we walking around proclaiming to be. We something higher than that, pretending to be these names.
Right.
Right. And then you start to open up the third eye. And the third eye make me shine like jewelry. You just a renter rapper. Your rhymes are mini made. I'll be here when you fade and watch you flip like a renegade. I can't wait to break on the lemonade on every trail's a snake, so stay awake and follow because the temple's a trail, stage is a cage, the mic is a third rail. Shout out to Rakim, the God MC.
Right. Somebody said, can you clarify what happens to the original people that were here before the Anunnakis arrived and made man in their image?
We amalgamated. That's what happened. We amalgamated. The original people still here. They just mixed in all the other races so we could form one big human family at the close of the age.
Mm-hmm. The Project Blue Rock.
Yep. Everybody had to tie into the vein. The first family, the first blood, blood. Plug back into that which you came. Just because they derive from us don't mean we can't reabsorb them back into us.
No.
Remember, when Yakub grafted the devil, he gave us a remedy.
Right. He did. They talk about the forms. I know Bill Gates buying up a whole bunch of shit, but he can't. How they buying up our land? They can't buy our land.
Listen, a lot of those farmers, just because they look like us, don't mean they're us. When they tracing their ancestry and find that they came from overseas, they're going to use everything at their disposal to try to displace them from the farm because they got to give it all back to the tribes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if they don't got no tribal mother with blood to the land, they out of there. Because only the tribal mothers own the land. And the tribes, the land own the tribes. We caretakers of the land. The land don't need us. We need the land.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Says, do you need to submit paperwork to change our status? No. Not no more. Paperwork they don't honor paperwork any goddamn way. You know what I'm saying? They don't honor no paperwork. You go in there with it, they gonna
You know I answered that about 40 minutes ago.
We got a whole tape on it though called about paperwork. A whole tape called The Paperwork Conjure.
It's a paper chain. It's paper trap.
Yeah.
It's to lock you back into the paper genocide in order to disassociate you from the land.
To claim your birthrights, you need oral tradition. That's all you need. Then know your pedigree and oral tradition. We don't gotta do no paperwork with them no more, because they frauded us out of all that information. They frauded us out on it. It's
now we might we
Yeah.
might use their records to form family tree charts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they records also tell them who they changed us into and who we were before they changed us. But that's kept in the, under lock and key by order of what's called the 72 secret treaties.
Mm-hmm.
The secret treaties is all of those secrets, Masonic secrets that's used to keep us from knowing who we are.
Mm-hmm.
From the miseducation aspect, all of the stuff that they was agreed to as parameters to fight the amnesia war, to educate ourselves above the condition for 200 years, to break free of the corporate contract of the interim government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Somebody says, "What's the spiritual explanation for exploring head syndrome?"
I don't actually
Head,
know what that is,
yeah, head
but
syndrome.
in the spiritual sense, it's a book called Breaking Open the Head, where the guy is going to all of the shamans, learning about the mushroom and the evil gang and the um, peyote and different hallucinogens used by shamans to open up the mind. And a lot of people say once your mind been opened that your head exploded, but they don't mean it literally. They mean it figuratively, meaning that your mind has been opened to the truth of the world. But I don't know if that's what he talking about or she, Cool Psyche. I don't know if that's what they talking about.
Gang stalkers. Says Nigerians are a part of the gang.
Gang stalking is more tied to your birthright than you could possibly imagine. They normally try to use gang stalking as a fear tactic to keep you distracted from ever going inward to discover the self because you're paranoid about the gang stalking activities that they're going around you. So they got you so predisposed focusing on them that you can't do the self work required to wake you up as to who you are, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Manchurian candidates is not just part of gang stalking; they're also part of assassination ops across the land. They're the ones who look like us but aren't. Specifically, the ones who grew up in our community know what they are doing. I don't know if they actually know what they are doing, but I know they don't care about us to the degree that they become reckless when they have an opportunity to hold our life in their hand. They more likely to send us on crash out missions than one of us would send the other,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's normally what happens. They get into a position of power in the community and they like to send the young boys out on crash out missions to keep the tribes divided and to keep us from ever forming unity with each other to reclaim the land. So they there as a plant. When you hear them talking about Hollywood industry plant, they never talk about the neighborhood industry plant that they put in the neighborhood and they financially support them by whatever means they can to get control of the minds of the youth with money, with flashy cars, with a whole bunch of fine females, you know, the poisonous ones at that. So they give them this as part of their cover story to make them look like they're a go-getter. Because we all know that any one of the chiefs, you can drop them anywhere on the land and they know how to make a living, even if there's no real way to make a living, they can get it from the dirt. So when you see somebody performing them activities, your subconscious mind telling you, here is the chief. Let me go see if he can teach me what I need to know to become a chief. And they use that flash as a way to get your attention. But the real chief don't use flash. He use character. Man, this is a long drawn out process and it come in phases. First thing is shut down all education from the governmental sources. All
Right.
local communities reclaim the educational programs of your children. That's the one of the first things we got to do. Next, the teenage boys need to learn manhood standards because they don't know how to be a man if men don't teach them. And the quality of men that teach the boys how to be men determine the quality of men that the boys gonna be when they grow. So we need manhood training for teenagers. Then we have the ones in their 20s, college age, need to be in leadership. Leadership training teaches them how to take orders and give orders, and the reason you need to know both sides of the dynamic. If you can't competently execute an order, you can't competently give another order to somebody else, expecting them to understand your order and to execute. So the better you are at being able to follow the instructions, the clearer you make the instructions when you teach somebody else or when you are giving orders to somebody else. This is why we need to reach out to the OGs across the land that has the attention of the YGs, because they gonna be the ones that begin to educate them on how we was deceived to fight each other. Once they understand what was being used to turn us against each other, we can then use that as a survival mechanism to not let it happen again. The first thing we need to be worried about is what is we doing to support and protect our family. And then whatever your natural attention is drawn to is what you need to focus on. You're going to automatically know what to do when you trust in yourself without needing nobody to tell you. Just remember, we have a lot of wisdom teachings so that we know the one that's most competent at the time for the task required is the leader at that time. But the leadership will change according to the needs of the community. And we got to be all right with that.
Some yeah, bro, you heard about that guy, that 3-year-old baby that blew that guy head off, man. Yeah, said the guy was sleeping on the couch, I guess, and it was a youngster, YN guy, and I guess he had one of them 40s with the long clip on it, and the baby got up, go use the bathroom. I guess the guy rolled over, let his gun fall on the floor. The baby went in there and looked at it, picked it up, put it to the back of his head while he was asleep, twisted his cap back. So you think that baby was wrong? He was wrong. What you think about that, bro? That 3-year-old twisted.
First and foremost, your firearm should not be accessible to children.
Right.
That's irresponsible gun ownership. Mm-hmm. I advocate people being armed. I'm with that. Mm-hmm. But I don't advocate you being careless with your firearm.
Yeah.
Right. This is why I don't advocate innocent bystanders getting shot. Right. If you know who the target is, get the target. Yeah. If you can't get the target, don't be shooting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But in that situation, the baby shouldn't have access to the firearm. Now the irony to that is the baby could have been possessed by an ancestor. And was making a reckoning on something.
That's exactly what I said to my girl, Rod. That's exactly what I said. That baby was handling some business. That's what I said. That baby was handling some business. That dude had to go. He been bullying somebody. He did something. Well, that's the karma. That's the karmic debt for that.
See, you can teach children. You can teach children at an early age to be responsible with a firearm, but you first have